Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Life Stories. My name is Trent and I hope you guys are all doing awesome as always and staying safe. Today we got some stories coming at you from, you guessed it, Reddit/idontworkherelady. So, without further ado, let's stop stalling and get to the stories. Our first story of the day is titled, "The Time One of Them Actually Got to Speak to the Manager, and It Was My Manager." This happened a couple of years ago, but I was reading an Ask Reddit thread that jogged this memory to come up. Anyway, I think it was like 2016-ish when I was working as a receptionist in an office. My boss/owner of the business was actually a very good friend of mine that I had known for a really long time. Anyway, she would occasionally give her employees gift cards to different places to buy some more work attire, as the dress code kept changing as the business did. I took mine and set out to Target. I was in the fitting room, trying on some stuff, when I heard what sounds like a stern, angry B-word talking. When I come out, it is, in fact, a stern, angry B-word talking. She's standing with, who I assume is her daughter, in front of a mirror that was in the hall of the dressing room areas, but not in the room itself. She's basically railing into this poor girl who can't be more than 13 or 14 about how if she lost weight, clothes might actually look good on her. This lady was actually pretty big herself. Not that that was a bad thing, but hypocrisy and mental abuse is. The poor girl looked defeated, and I kinda watched them as I handed my items I didn't want back to the girl working, and said something along the lines of, "Man, some people suck," in the voice I thought was pretty low. I guess it wasn't. The B-word thought the girl working the counter said it at first, and started to go after her. I told her I said it because that girl didn't know me, and didn't need to lose her job over me. I mean, I'm sure you can guess what happens next. She wants to speak to my manager. I tried the whole "I don't work here" thing, but her rebuttal is that I obviously do, am obviously here on my day off, and should still be reprimanded for being rude about a customer to my little friend. Not that I wouldn't be friends with the girl working there, she seemed lovely, but we had never met before, to my knowledge anyway. I'm about to tell her that when a new idea dawns on me. "Yeah, you can talk to my manager," I tell her. Getting my phone out, I just have to call her because she isn't here today. Entirely true. My manager was at home that day getting ready for a party I was later attending at her house. I call her and she answers. I say, "Hey, I have someone here at Target demanding to speak to you." There's some quite obvious confusion on her end. All I hear is, "Okay," before putting her on speakerphone. I'll be damned if a stranger is going to press my phone against their face. "Okay, you're on speaker." Immediately, Benchy McBenchpants starts telling her how awful I am and what I did, and is also adding spice that it's awful that no manager is on the floor to deal with this situation today. My boss started laughing hysterically, which made Benchbritches even more angry. Well, if you ask a random person's manager, don't be surprised that they don't work at Target, you idiot. I lost it at this point too. I apologized to the nice young lady working the rooms, put my phone to my ear so I could laugh it off with my friend/manager, and start to walk away. Of course, Benchenstein is still yelling at me because I'm awful, and I see what I assume is an actual manager coming over to the rooms. So, I tell my manager. I call her back and head back to see what lies she tries to spin, and also try to make sure she doesn't accuse fitting room girl of anything. Lo and behold, she was trying to blame that girl, and started yelling about that bench, me this time, coming back, and said that I should be punished too. Luckily, the manager saw me and immediately says, "I have never seen her before in my life. She doesn't work here." Angry lady says she can't deal with her lies anymore, grabs her poor, embarrassed beyond all reason daughter, and is walking away. The manager apologized to me and the employee, but it's not like I ever blamed him. He was super kind. Once I got to my car, I felt bad that I didn't give the daughter the rest of my Target gift card, but I knew there was no way I could have, so I called my manager back and just about died laughing at the situation. Hey, I mean, that's one way to drive a Karen away. If you're not gonna take him seriously, why not make it obvious that your manager doesn't? Makes perfect sense to me. Moving on, our next story is titled, "I Managed to Pull the Reverse I Don't Work Here Lady." So, first of all, it's my first post on the forum, and English is my second language. As a good French Canadian, let me apologize abundantly in advance for all the inconveniences it may cause. So, here it goes. Between 2011 and 2015, I worked kinda full-time for Quebec's version of that big Canadian sports equipment retailer. My Canadian fellows would know exactly which one. Heh, I sure do. I liked that job because I enjoyed helping clients, as I felt more like an expert than a mere seller. We were trained monthly on new products, and they wanted us to be experts in our fields. We were also encouraged to be helpful and to take our time with the customers. We didn't have a particular dressing code, but each employee would wear a bright royal blue nylon and zipper vest with the name of the store on the back, the logo on the front, and our name tags. Not at all conspicuous. Nonetheless, people, mostly older ladies, would often ask me if I work here. I was always baffled by that since my obvious bright blue royal nylon vest with the name tag, but I assumed it was because we were young employees. Almost everyone were university or college students in their 20s, and we would look a lot like most of our customers. From across the aisles, maybe it wasn't so obvious for an older lady that I wasn't just a young-looking fella. It never bothered me more than it intrigued me when it would happen, and I started fantasizing about the idea of someday just answering no and seeing what happens. That particular week, I had to work longer shifts than usual because of some sale we had going, and the store was quite busy. We were just past supper, and I was at that point where I would keep looking at the clock, but it didn't seem to move. The evening shift had been busy so far, but it was calming down. We were just starting to breathe a little from the supper rush, so I started working on some facing that needed some love and attention. A lady in her late 50s or so that I didn't see comes out of nowhere, right in front of me, and asks politely, "Sorry, young man, do you work here?" I'm literally holding up a bunch of Crocs in my hands and literally placing them on the display, wearing my nylon blue Royal Zipper Sport vest with 52 logos and my freaking name on it. I don't know what happened, since I'm a polite young man and always took great care in the way I would approach our clients. Maybe I was tired. I don't know, but it felt too much, and something snapped. For once, I was legit way too choked by the apparent stupidity of asking me that question, especially at this precise moment when it seems, to me at least, quite obvious that I was indeed working here. I look at her, straight in the eyes. I look down at my vest and my Crocs, and look back at her. I look back at my vest. I didn't want to answer. I wanted to give her the time to take a tiny better look at me and notice my vest and the Crocs. The lady is nice, you know. She approached me politely. She's not a Karen or entitled. I'm the problem here. She keeps looking at me with those honest interrogation marks in her eyes. It's been 2 or 3 seconds of awkward silence. I felt it boiling inside. I gave her a chance. Nope, she doesn't see it. It's going to happen soon if she doesn't see it. Screw it. I'll do it. It's happening. Sorry, ma'am. I don't work here. And I just go back to putting those Crocs out on display. She goes, "Oh, sorry," and then just turns around and keeps looking for an employee. First of all, I'm bewildered, positively confounded. She obviously had no clues whatsoever, despite all the signs that I worked there. I didn't know it was possible, and I'm impressed in some way. But then I immediately regretted it. I never thought she would buy it, but she did, and now I feel bad, and I can't go back to her without looking like a big idiot. No, sorry, ma'am, I was joking. I do work here. How can I help you?" She wasn't angry at all for my poor joke. She said something like, "Oh my, I wasn't sure, I must admit." I served her, and she left, and everything was all right. But I had my lesson. Most of the people, when they ask you if you work there, whether you actually work there or not, legitimately have no idea whatsoever, no matter how obvious you think the answer is. At first, I was shocked that you would pull a joke on a poor innocent old lady who definitely wasn't a Karen. But it's good to know that you do have a heart, OP. Good job apologizing. Let it be known, we mess with Karens, not innocent old grannies. And moving along, we got time for one more small story, and it is rather bombastically titled, Wholesome Wizard Jesus. I never experienced this myself, but this story is probably the most wholesome thing I've ever witnessed. So, me and my parents were coming from church, so everyone was dressed in fancy clothes going to a Costco during the evening, and we were just buying food and stuff. But we passed by this old guy who looked like a wizard that was in a suit. He was probably the kindest guy I've ever seen, and he was so chill. It almost seemed like he came from church as well, so he was dressed up pretty nicely. He had a name tag on, which caused a lot of people to think he was an employee. I don't remember much of what happened, but I saw a family walked up to him and asked him for help. He laughed and told them that he didn't work there, and was just a guy that came from church. The family gasped and laughed with him, apologizing, and went off with their day. I think the best part was that every time we passed by, there were new people making the same mistake, and the dude would just laugh it off and just have a conversation with them. I'm just glad that nothing bad happened to the guy. I personally just remember him as Wizard Jesus, because he clearly cast a spell of wholesomeness on everyone. Sorry if there wasn't any Karens at war, but I just wanted to share this story because it made me really happy every time I thought about it, and wanted to share it with y'all. Hey, I am personally okay with embracing the teachings of Wholesome Wizard Jesus. Just be nice to people, and don't fight in supermarkets. Please. Anyway, with that story all done, we're out of time for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Life Stories. My name is Trent. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Reddit content coming your way, and I hope to see you guys soon.